What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today I want to give an update on a very popular penny stock at the moment in the form of Healthier Choice Management, ticker symbol HCMC. Now today I want to focus on three main topics. Firstly, we'll take a look at their current share price and performance. Second of all, we'll give updates on the lawsuit with Philip Morris, which definitely is a huge deal for this company. And thirdly, we'll give updates on other news and catalysts for the stock. And finally, we'll give my plans going forward. And with all that being said, let's dive right on into today's video. Now, as you are well aware, penny stocks are extremely volatile and HCMC is no different. But today we'll have a look at some of their main catalysts as well. Some of the standout ones definitely is the lawsuit with Philip Morris. We'll have a brief look back at the hashtag HCMC day, which happened a few weeks back as well. We'll then give a look or update on their earnings. And finally, we'll give some kind of updates as well on the rights issue and any other mini catalysts. But now let's firstly have a look at how they're performing in terms of share price. So at time of recording, HCMC was trading at 0.001718 cent per share, which is absolutely minute and immaterial. So again, you could actually pick up quite a substantial amount of shares for very little capital. We can see on the 3-month chart that it's not looking too good at all. They're down 57%. But again, that's a 3-month chart. If you kind of pull it back a bit and come back to the 1 week or 1 month chart, they're actually doing considerably better. We can see on the 1 week chart that it's up about 13.77%. Now again, with most of my investments, I'm definitely long term and I don't really swing trade or day trade. But with this HCMC stock and with most penny stocks in particular, there is definitely opportunities to buy at the dip and hold long term, or even just get scalped and buy and sell in day trading or swing trading. So definitely with the volatility within this stock, you could do either or. Now obviously the volatility in HCMC is due to news and catalysts. So as discussed, I want to go through 4 catalysts today. 3 of these are kind of old news as such, so I want to go through them very briefly and just give an update if you aren't aware. And the 4th, we'll give a kind of bigger update on the lawsuit. But the first of these catalysts was the hashtag HCMC day. That was about 2 weeks ago at this stage. However, it was quite kind of interesting to see how much of an impact the social media can have on these kind of stocks and how they can be manipulated. So basically, the whole point of this HCMC day was to get investors around the globe to invest at least $100 into the stock to kind of get out the short sellers and drive the price back up. And that was definitely successful. We've seen that in prior videos that I discussed this in more in-depth detail. The second of these catalysts was the rights offering that was announced by HCMC Management again a few weeks back. So I made an in-depth video which I'll link in the description below on this as well. But I'll just kind of give you a very brief synopsis of what this actually means. So in very brief summary, for every 4 shares that a HCMC investor holds, they have entitlement to a rights issue of getting a 5th share at 75% of the price over an average certain price. So for example, the price over a certain 4 or 5 day period will be the average price that you'll have the 75% kind of discount on, or 25% discount and 75% that you'll actually have to pay. So again, for every 4 shares, you'll have a rights issue to get a 5th share at 3/4 of the price. Now again, as this is a bit of old news or a week or so old, if you haven't already held these shares and got the rights issue, then you probably missed a boat, as you need to have held these shares on the 14th of May to have the option of getting these rights issues. But again, even if you do hold the shares, it'll be very interesting to know how this is actually going to work out in your favor long term. And the third of the 4 catalysts is the earnings report of Q1 of this year. Now it's kind of been a mixed bag. Again, I'll have links in the description below of videos I made on this in more detail. But in kind of synopsis, in Q1 they made a net loss of $766,000. The revenue of $3.46 million is down 14.4% in year to date. And they had adjusted a loss amount of $394,000, an improvement of 9% year on year. So overall, it's pretty much a mixed bag for their overall earnings. But again, I think they're trying to make a best of a bad situation here. And if you actually look into the earnings overall, they're kind of hemorrhaging money in my opinion. And the 4th catalyst I want to discuss today is certainly the biggest catalyst, and that's in the form of their infringement lawsuit with Philip Morris in terms of patent infringements with their vapes. So again, I just want to give an update on that and give an update on terms of dates for key things that will definitely act as the biggest catalyst for HCMC going forward. Now I really do feel that this lawsuit result will be the biggest impact for HCMC, because if it doesn't go HCMC's way, it could be disastrous, as 90% to 95% of investors, in my opinion, will pull out of the stock, as most are only interested in the results of this lawsuit. Also, on the flip side of that, if they win the lawsuit, it can go either of 2 ways. Firstly, it's kind of no surprise that the price will go way up. However, I do feel that most investors, because they're not invested in the fundamentals in the stock and just the lawsuit, will try to get out as quick as possible with a profit. And again, there's nothing at all wrong with that. That's the whole point of investing, is to make money. But I do feel that even if the stock goes up, investors will start pulling out to get the profits, effectively dropping the overall price again. So you kind of be back to square one again, even if they win the lawsuit. Now, there's also a third option of this lawsuit, and that's if actually Philip Morris want to buy out HMC, which again would actually be a positive for investors within this company. So that's definitely the three main outcomes from this lawsuit. Now, just a very brief synopsis if you're not aware of this lawsuit. In very brief summary, HCMC are suing Philip Morris for patent infringements on one of their vapes. Now, usually if you looked at this kind of story, it's a David versus Goliath style story in terms of revenues and the size of these companies in comparison to one another. However, HCMC definitely have a fighting chance and are starting to gain steam here, mainly because of what law people they have on board here in the form of Mr. O'Connor, which is ranked one of the top 100 in the country, which certainly gives HCMC a fighting chance. Now again, if you're not really in depth into this lawsuit, you could say on one side, how come this is such a big deal if it's only one minor product? However, when you actually look at the scale of things and look at the difference in size of these companies, for example, Philip Morris have quoted that they have over 14 million users of this product that HCMC are kind of suing for patent infringements on. So that's a huge amount of people. Again, if you multiply that then by the amount they're actually paying for this product, that's definitely of huge money, especially for smaller style companies like HCMC. And also Philip Morris, it just goes to show how much of a big company they are when they're invested $3 billion in smokeless tobacco products already. So in terms of some key dates with this lawsuit, now when doing some research within this lawsuit, it's quite hard to find much information. However, this site definitely hits nail on the head in terms of confirming dates and stuff. So for example, once HCMC went out to Philip Morris, or they actually started to sue Philip Morris then obviously made their counterclaim. Even if they're in the wrong, they're obviously going to make a counterclaim regardless. Of course you would, because it gives you some bit of a chance of getting away with it. So then on the 11th of March, we can see that HCMC's opposition, the PM's counter target or counter lawsuit. So again, once that went through, we can see then on the 15th of March that both parties met to confirm, and they kind of had to kick off the whole legal lawsuit thereon. And as you can imagine, there was a lot of back and forth then on the 25th of March and the 12th of April were the next two meetings that they adjourned. And then the 5th or the 12th of May is their fifth point here. And that's kind of when it starts to heat up a bit, because now HCMC need to prove to the courts that the product is actually infringing some of the laws and rights in terms of this infringement. So now they have to approach the courts with the apparatus, etc., to show that HCMC are in the right and that Philip Morris have broken the rules in terms of rights infringements. So that's where they are with the lawsuit as well. Now again, there's been a lot of back and forth, as you can imagine, but things are definitely starting to heat up, and certainly over the next few weeks they're going to have a definitive answer on if Philip Morris are going to be able to counteract this claim or if HCMC are going to win the lawsuit. Either way is going to have huge impacts on HCMC's stock price. So after looking through the four catalysts in today's video briefly, the HCMC or hashtag HCMC day update, the earnings for Q1, and also the rights issue, which are kind of old news now at this stage and have already been built into the share price. But the fourth point here is definitely, again, the biggest catalyst in the form of their lawsuit with Philip Morris, and that's going to be the kind of be all or end all of this stock. So it's very interesting, especially as an investor, or if you're an investor in this stock, should I say, to be keeping up to date with this lawsuit, because it really will impact the share price going forward. So in terms of my own personal opinion on this stock, I was asked yesterday on a Trading 212 forum to give my kind of honest opinion on this stock. Now firstly, don't get me wrong, there is definitely money being made within HCMC as a short-term buyer, or kind of a seller should I say, selling the stock short-term. But long-term, I really don't feel there's going to be much added benefit, as the share price will probably more than likely come back down even if they do win the lawsuit. So in synopsis, I wouldn't really hold this stock long term, but again, I'm not a financial advisor, so you need to do your own due diligence before investing any of your hard-earned capital. But in my opinion, over the short-term period, there definitely is money to be made. Obviously, it's going to be fairly risky, but the risk-reward ratio is probably going to be in your favor, as it has a lot of catalysts that can either drive the price up or down at any given point. So that's kind of my 2 cents on the stock. I do feel as well, just like most penny stocks, there's a lot of hype built around the stock at the moment. So once the hype kind of dies down and the stock consolidates, the share price will probably more than likely come back down. So with all that being said, that's the end of today's video. I just want to give a brief update on the main catalyst and news for the very popular penny stock at the moment in the form of Healthier Choice Management, ticker symbol HCMC. If you found this video anyway interesting or entertaining, it'd be much appreciated as always if you could smash that like button, and if you're new around here, it'd be great if you consider subscribing to the channel. I'd also be very interested to know in the comment section below if you hold this stock HCMC, and if so, how many shares do you currently hold in this stock, and if you're going to hold long term. Thanks very much, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and I will see you all in tomorrow's video.